Alright guys, HyDra again today. Hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. With more roster announcements expected just around the corner, it seems that Pred is taking up the role of Leaksy on this new OpTic team, pretty much revealing absolutely everything last night, especially talking about this new Subliners roster and saying that, yeah, Dante, Sib, he is going to be the fourth man, but also there was some further on discussion as to how this is going to play out. Dashy saying that from a personality perspective, he doesn't see this working quite as well as their previous team would have done. Very much intrigued to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy, subscribe if you're new as always. Just another beautiful Black Ops 3 clip to start out the video. This I thought was pretty crazy though. I don't know what planet Dashy was on here, but he just comes wandering past and like Drazah shoots him in the back, gets the second, and then absolutely destroys TJ for the third. I mean, look, the RK5 was an absolute joke in these kind of ranges. The RK5, of all weapons that wasn't a one-shot weapon, was the fastest killing gun in the game at close range, because it could three-shot you from this range, and there was no gun in the game that could kill you quicker in a single burst. Like even the M81 burst was not as quick as the RK5 one burst when it could one-shot you up close or one burst you up close. But anyway, that's a story for another day, I suppose. And also, I was just, I'm happy to see that Black Ops 3 is like the game right now that's being played. They've done the Cold War thing, and they've now gone back to Black Ops 3. And these are the chals that we're seeing, and it's just beautiful to watch. So, yeah, long may that continue. I don't know if you guys saw this flying around as well, but it seems like some people have discovered, I'm not exactly sure how to do this, how to insta drop shots. Now, maybe you could think, why didn't Shotzzy discover this already? But apparently this is a thing that you can actually, I mean, I don't know whether it just looks like this or exactly what the character model does, but I mean, that's pretty absurd. And this is possible in Warzone, it's possible in Modern Warfare 2, and it seems to work pretty well to the effect of the player doing this. So, look, I don't know if this is going to be possible in the upcoming game, but yeah, maybe thankfully this wasn't discovered during the game's life cycle, because I'm not sure I really would have put any money on an Infinity Ward finding a way to fix it, and it could have looked pretty funky, it's got to be said, from the competitive perspective. This I also thought was crazy, and congratulations to aBeZy, who's an old school European player, been around for some time. Him and his significant other are having a child, it seems, so awesome stuff. And as he says, I thought this is just great. Project Shotzzy. Now this is a reference to Project Mbappe, so there's this thing that Kylian Mbappe, one of the biggest superstars in world football, world soccer right now, a lot of people, they want their kid to become that good so they can reap all the benefits and the rewards of doing so, and they get their kid playing football from a young age, basically. And there's other variations of this elsewhere. So instead of Project Mbappe, it's Project Shotzzy, right? To try and create the next dominant superstar of the Call of Duty world. So that was pretty entertaining. So congratulations to them both. Also this, so spectator passes on sale for the off-season event that Hitch is throwing, and Team Scump for the Black Ops 2 throwback is as follows. It's, well, as he say, past, present, future. So Scump and Karma, I guess that represents the past. Shotzzy, I suppose, is the present, and then Pred is the future. So I guess it's kind of nice. But I wonder how this team will play out, because this team is stacked, right, on paper. I mean, this is a really good team. Scump, Karma, Shotzzy, Pred, I mean, come on. So, yeah, Black Ops 2 throwback. I do wonder how it goes, just because players like Pred's playstyle, I think, will play great in Black Ops 2. Shotzzy's playstyle, I'm not so sure. I don't know if this guy's going to be completely lost on the map. We'll see. It'll be interesting. But that's one team. There is also another partial team that's being thrown around here. So as Hitch says to Nature, like, you know, we got to get you back on the sticks. Maybe this Black Ops 2 throwback, right? So this would be really fun if Nature could come back for it. And as Clay says, me, Crim6 and Aches need one. So that apparently is their team that they're running for. Clay, Crim, Aches for the throwback tournament, which is obviously very close to the complexity, the first part of the complexity dynasty before Clay got dropped for Karma, and TP was the fourth player, and that Hitch says he'll be out of town. So there's no way that TP plays, unfortunately, so we can't get that full team, but if they need one, then maybe Najot's the man. So just I'll keep you guys updated on those rosters over the coming days, and honestly, I'm more interested in those rosters than I am at the moment in the rosters that these guys are going to come up with. Not fully true, but we know that London and Vegas are going to take their time. Gorillas, Seattle, Surge, don't exactly know what they're up to right now. I did also see this because a few times we've seen so far that Clayster has been having words on how the previous Vegas Legion team went last season, talking about the issues with the agendas that teammates had, and there was a question to me whether Standy and Clay could run it back, because I think that might be one of their, best options as it stands. Where would that be? Difficult to say, but Clay also does tweet out a clip that, we've been playing a fair bit of Valorant here with Standy, so it's quite possible that that's a duo that remains into next season, however or wherever they might potentially try and pull that off. Also, this from Octane I thought was bang on the money really, but it's just like, when is this damn season gonna start? It feels like it's been a long time since I've had any COD action anyway, and we're only right at the start of August, and it's gonna be at least, 4 months until December when we might actually get some action here. And of course, as soon as the game launches, there's tournaments, there's scrims, there's stuff to talk about, but yeah, hopefully, because there was all this song and dance the CDL did, that last season the CDL was gonna start nice and early, and they did it right. They started it in early December, and we gave them the credit for doing so. They finished the season too early, and ideally we have the best of both worlds where it starts in December and finishes in like August, but the CDL probably isn't going to do that. They are trying to minimize expenses. They're trying to make sure the books look as good as they possibly can for the Activision acquisition that's probably going down with Microsoft, and I think that after this year of the CDL, we are probably going to go into a very different format for Call of Duty Esports when Microsoft come in and change their minds, or at least, franchising might not be the way that it presently is. So I'm not really particularly optimistic for a great season schedule here, but nonetheless, the season should be great. I hope that it's not a situation like in Black Ops 3, where there was a lot of action in Black Ops 3 for sure, like there was a lot of online league matches, but there were barely any big tournaments that year, and it feels kind of bad that we had such a good competitive game in Black Ops 3, and the season was somewhat squandered by very few actual big international events. So I'm hoping that this, what should be an incredible season, especially at the top end with the teams that are being formed, isn't squandered by the CDL cutting back. But we'll see. That's a topic for probably many months down the line. But let's talk about the OpTic situation again, because this content was just so good that we've got to keep on talking about it. And I will say it's pretty funny how Shotzzy over the last several weeks, despite being known as the man that leaks everything for this team, hasn't really done that much of it. It was Kenny apparently that almost leaked himself joining OpTic. You guys probably saw the clip during the breakdown where Kenny was for some reason streaming from the OpTic HQ, which I always feel like is a bit risky, no? It's like, if you're going to be in Texas there to do announcements and all this, and you're going to go to the OpTic HQ to stream, then, it's definitely, you're playing with fire a little bit in terms of getting that leaked ahead of time. And then he walked to the toilet or something and was spotted in the background of OpTic Sebas's stream, I believe, but no one spotted him, right? So it's like when Shotzzy got spotted in the background of the Big Timer podcast episode, and it definitely was Shotzzy, by the way. People telling me that wasn't Shotzzy in the background, it definitely was, and I know that they tried to play it off as if it wasn't, but it for sure was. But I think Kenny was like in the background, but nobody noticed it, which is like, come on guys, you got to do better than that. Like, you got to send me these in the DMs. But unfortunately, we didn't get that leaked ahead of time. But now it's Pred doing all the leaking. So he comes out and just says everything. And look, we know that Sib is joining New York, but Pred just says it straight up outright that Dante's the man coming in. But probably what's more interesting about this is the reaction of these players to that decision, especially Dashy's thoughts, knowing Sib pretty well on how that's going to mesh as a team.
Wait, isn't it crazy how New York, like, they actually changed it or whatever?
That is crazy.
That's
that is
right?
wild. Imagine like winning three tournaments and one of them being champs, and like,
And back to back too, bro.
and back to back, and then like not feeling secure. Like,
I
that's
feel
what
like
I'm
if you
saying.
win champs, like, bro, even if it's not a back to back and like you won the first, like their year was insane, not to run it back, but you gotta like.
But like, even if
I feel for P-Dog.
yeah,
sure.
I feel like even for like the contract thing, like how they were saying like he was having contract issues, like if the team really wanted
gotta pay
him,
them.
they could have just all did like a few pay cuts. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
FaZe has been doing that,
Ain't nobody.
That's
doing
what we kind of did though.
but FaZe has been doing that for like however long.
Yeah, y'all did that, right?
We did LT, but it wasn't like that. Like when because somebody like I think Zinni brought it up, but he was like their pay cuts weren't that. Like, it wasn't that crazy of a pay cut. It was a pay cut, but it wasn't
Probably
like
like
insane.
It's like 20, 30 maybe, something like that.
Yeah, it was. I don't even remember exactly how
Yeah.
much it was, but it like we basically got sat down like, yo, we need y'all to take pay cuts, and we know if y'all want to go somewhere as a four,
Yeah.
we'll let y'all go somewhere. But we're all looking at each other like we're playing here next year.
Yeah.
We won a world championship here.
Let's
We'll
run
be
it
here
back,
again
yeah.
next
Yeah.
year. Like,
But
so,
basically, like with Priestahh, like if they really wanted him, they could have made it work.
but I feel like when they had like maybe when they had like off like maybe when they were not playing as well, they were like looking to like replace him. So like now I came to the off season.
So they're like maybe.
So it's like, okay, we still had a chance to replace him. Like, do we really want to like test our luck with him
yeah.
again? And it's like I can see that, but it's like also like, bro, you won. What,
If
they won
it
3
ain't
tournaments?
How much
broke,
more can
like,
you
it's,
win?
it's
Yeah.
just not broken, bro. Like,
3
Yeah.
tournaments nowadays is insane. Like that's crazy. Like
And like,
yeah.
and the thing is, like, it's just, and it also puts like a lot of pressure on Dante. I feel like he's joining a team that just won so much. Like,
Yeah. So if
That
they
is
don't
true.
win instantly, like,
it's just like it makes it look like, oh, it's, you know what I'm saying? Like for him,
That's
it's a
it.
lot of pressure too. But like, I don't know.
And
man.
also, this is an underrated part about like I don't know, just teams is just like the way they were, like them 4 with Preston, they were just like they would vibe, bro.
They were
would
fast
connect.
paced, bro. They were so paced.
Like on the map, yeah, they were flowing, but like even like out of game, bro, like you could tell like they were just
no,
like,
they are a squad that you look at them like and you think like they're home, like you can tell they're homies.
Yeah.
Like they look like a squad that's like
yeah.
like they always
even
going out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
even when like they weren't playing good, they don't look like defeated. Like
Every
they
time
come
we
to
went
the
out to
event,
eat,
like,
we'd
look-
see them. And shit.
Yeah,
I'm like, all right, like,
it's like
Yeah, no, they'll definitely vibe.
and I'm cool with Dante, but I don't know if he's like, I don't know if he's their vibe necessarily. Maybe me and Dante are boys, but like, because I don't know. P Dog was kind of like, I don't know. We'll have to see how it meshes,
Yeah.
but they should be good still, obviously.
Yeah.
The only
Factors
thing
you kinda
about New
need,
York
at
is if
certain
you
times
took
in Call of
away
Duty, 'cause,
HyDra,
like, there's times in
they
Call
are
of Duty where
undoubtedly
shit's
last.
just not gonna be going right.
Like,
And
in
you
terms
need
of the
someone
top
to
four.
The
just
Slay
pop
is
the
saying
piece
some
or-
crazy shit in
Yeah.
here.
If
You need
you
someone to
if
do
you took
something a
away
little
Paco
crazy,
from New York
get you out
chat,
of
you
situations.
no
I feel
one
like
in my
all
chat is
4 of you on
arguing
the
that they are
team
not
can do that
last
at any given time.
amongst
so
the
I
top
feel
4
like
teams.
It's just gonna be
Nobody.
hard to play.
And if you are, you're actually just
especially
somebody
like
better.
in search, like
Period.
So Octane also gave his perspective on that Subliners roster and, you know, people saying that without HyDra, they're undoubtedly the last top 4 team, which is for sure true. I mean, like, HyDra's their star player. So, like, obviously, if they didn't have HyDra, like, where would they be? They'd probably be outside of the top 4, to be honest. With HyDra, they might be better than top 4, and it's really difficult to rank these rosters right now, I've got to say. We'll see what Scump and Methods came up with here just about now, actually. So this is the tier list they put together so far based on the teams we know and then the teams that have been rumoured. So they've got Rocker top 8, they've got Boston and Thieves in the top 6 range, which I think is probably how it's going to stay. I don't expect that London or Vegas are going to put together a team that's going to be better than right down here. Florida probably in the 9-10 range, I guess we'll see about that. Surge should be, you know, in and around this ballpark. So I think that the way they've done this is probably about right. But ranking the top 4 is just so incredibly difficult the more that I think about it. The OpTic team should be godlike. The FaZe team should be godlike. The Toronto team should be godlike as well. And then Subliners, to me, are the real question. Like, I honestly would probably do this as 1 to 3 and put Toronto. Like, it's really tough to say, isn't it? Because, you know, you'd want to have, in some sense, you want all these teams to be on the same level. It's so tough to call who's the best team between them. You can't put FaZe lower than, like, the S tier, because it's just how it is with FaZe. But Toronto have made strides, and then you've got Subliners also having just won the World Championship. But I think there's more questions about New York than I would have with even some of these other teams that have made big changes. Because I agree with Dashy, right? I don't know if Sib is going to be the perfect man for that system. I'm pretty sure after Major 2, Major 3 last season, New York were going to make a change, or they were considering a change because they'd won the first event, they'd fallen off, and it's quite rare, it's incredibly rare, that a team can win the first event, fall off, and actually make the return. That's what they did, but they had considered at some points, they had contemplated replacing Priestahh, and then when all the other changes went down at the end of the season, they then thought, you know what, let's pull the trigger because we can get better. And Sib, mechanically, like from a slaying perspective, firepower perspective, probably can bring more to the table than Priestahh can. But is he going to be better in that teammate role? How's it going to work chemistry-wise? I think there's a lot of questions to be answered there. And, you know, Dashy's wondering whether Sib really fits in culture-wise with the way those guys play. I'm sure they can work it out. They've got a great coaching staff over there that I think can put the pieces together, but I think there's more risk there than even there is with some of these other rosters that it might not potentially work out so well for those guys. So I think it's really interesting to see the analysis here. And even with HyDra on the roster, they still might be the 4th best team going into next season. It's just really difficult to call. But yeah, Prid basically just says, yeah, that's happening. Dante's the man. And OpTic have no qualms about just putting this out publicly because at this point, everyone probably already knows. But intrigued to hear your perspective in the comment section below. Just wanted to close out with this I thought was interesting here from Donny Temp. So he did his Black Ops 4 tier list, actually, with all the players that he's put in the S, in the, well, S+, S, and then the A tier. There's a few names, like he puts himself in the S tier, which is quite nice. I think a lot of this is not too far away. I mean, he gives Priestahh a lot of credit, which I think is understandable, because he was very impactful on the 100 Thieves team. To me, though, I think Dylan's getting underrated. Dylan Cod was such an unreal player in this game. Like, he was arguably top 5 on that Reciprocity team. Was just insanely impactful on the SMG. I feel so disappointed in what happened with like his future career and where he could have been even today. But you know, that's a story that's been discussed at other times, and you guys can probably find some details on the Dylan Cod saga elsewhere on the internet. But yeah, to me, Dylan Cod deserves at least S tier as far as I'm concerned. But I'm very much intrigued to your perspective in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.